Potter and Tabby toot the horn.
And Arthur Howard. Wait, let me see the Tabby picture. Let me see the Tabby picture first. Potter toot the horse so bad.
Yeah, one, loud music.
Mr. Potter and his fine cat Tabby were neighbors to Mrs. Teaberry and her good dog Zeke. Mrs. Teaberry and Mr. Potter had a lot in common.
They both liked bingo.
They both liked free samples. They both liked rain.
Oh, okay. And they both like music. Mrs. Teaberry liked country music the best.
She liked the broken hearts. She liked the big silver boots and the tall hair.
Okay. Mr. Potter liked the opera.
He also liked broken hearts.
Oh.
And he liked the big round heroes and the violins.
Okay. Someday, Mrs. Teaberry would play her country music very loud for Miss Potter to hear. Okay. Some days, Mr. Potter would play his opera very loud for Mrs. Teaberry to hear. They liked sharing.
One day, Mrs. Teaberry had an idea. We should join a band, she told Mr. Potter. But I can't join a band, said Mr. Potter. I can't play an instrument.
Of course you can, said Miss Teaberry. All people can do anything they want.
Can they say they can't play an instrument? Asked Mr. Potter. No, said Mrs. Teaberry. So she and Mr. Potter went to look for a band. 2. Tough Teeth. Mr. Potter and Tabby and Mrs. Teaberry and Zeke went to hear many bands play. They went to hear an Irish band play jigs. There's a girl doing the jig. She's wearing the traditional jig outfit.
Okay.
But the jigging made Tabby nervous and Zeke itch, so they could not play in the Irish band.
Mm-hmm.
Next, they went to hear a brass band, but the brassy sound made Mrs. Teaberry's teeth hurt, so they could not play in a brass band.
Oh.
Then they went to hear a jazz band. The band played very late in a club after midnight. Mr. Potter fell asleep, so they could not play in the jazz band. Look, Zeke, Zeke has his hat.
Oh. Okay.
Poor Mr. Potter and Mrs. Teaberry. It seemed that bands were only for people who had tough teeth and didn't need much sleep. They sat with Tabby and Zeke and wondered what to do.
Mm-hmm. 3. Miss Potter cat.
I have it, said Mrs. Teaberry a few days later. She had bought Mr. Potter and Tabby some peach tea and a carrot pie. We will be a band.
Okay.
I still can't play an instrument, said Mr. Potter. Of course you can, said Mrs. Teaberry. I can't, said Mr. Potter. Can if you want to, said Mrs. Teaberry. Mr. Potter thought about Tabby's nerves and Zeke's itch and Mrs. Teaberry's teeth. He thought about a nap. I'm not sure if I want to, said Mr. Potter. If you try, I will bake you something sweet, said Mrs. Teaberry. Sweet? Said Mr. Potter. Something really nutty, said Mrs. Teaberry. Nutty? Said Mr. Potter. With lots of vanilla, said Mrs. Teaberry. I'm ready to play, said Mr. Potter.
吃货.
For Mr. Potter tries. The next day, Mr. Potter brought a little horn. He bought it because it was on sale. When he got home, Mr. Potter tooted the horn for 4 hours. He was a very bad tutor, the worst. Tabby went outside to sleep in the ferns. Mrs. Teaberry did not buy a horn to toot. She bought a mandolin. When she got home, she started plucking. She was a good plucker. She plucked all night long, and Zeke did not itch. By the next morning, Mrs. Teaberry could pluck her favorite country songs.
Oh.
But Mr. Putter could not toot his favorite songs. His tutor was holding up a tomato plant. See? Stick, stick,
Yeah.
stick, stick, torn.
Five the band.
Mrs. Teaberry forgave Mr. Putter for being a bad tutor. She said he could listen to her pluck instead. So he did. She listened to her pluck.
He listened to her pluck.
He listened to her pluck all of the broken-hearted songs she could think of.
Oh.
He liked it very much. Tabby purred.
Oh.
Zeke did not itch.
Oh.
After the concert, they all had a sweet, nutty vanilla surprise.
Oh my God.
Mrs. Teaberry said Mr. Putter deserved it because he had tried.
See the belly. Like a ball.
She said she did not mind being the only person in the band. She said the name of her band would be Plucking Without Putter. And they laughed and laughed and laughed.
Yeah.